Welcome everyone. Predictive Data Analysis course. We will be looking at data forecasting. We will be looking at tables, and we will be looking at conditional formatting. Good evening. Welcome to this night's section on predictive data analysis. I'm still your facilitator, Mr. Franklin, a data analyst, management and recruitment consultant, Solomon Institute of Tech and Management. Good evening, welcome to tonight. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see my screen. If you are just joining us this night, this is another section for data analysis course. Is another section on data analysis course. Tonight we will be covering predictive data analysis. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen, and if you are joining us from the scholarship group, remember to drop your name, your scholarship ID. Also inform those in the group that we are live. Inform those in the group that we are live. All right. Let's keep the chat coming. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. This night we are going to be looking at data forecasting, how you can use historical data to predict, how you can use historical data to forecast what is the next 6 months revenue going to be like, what is the next year performance going to be, what is the sales target. You can use this predictive analysis to predict what the target of the sales reps can be, what are the targets of different departments in the organization, targets of different branches. Predictive data analysis is one of the key tools businesses use to forecast, to predict for using historical data. All right, if you can hear me, please drop in the comment section. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. I'm still waiting for some of us to join us. Let's also remember, go to the group. If you're on the scholarship group, help me to drop in that group that we are live. Help me drop that we are live. Let everybody join us tonight. Let everybody join us tonight. We are good to go. Let's everyone join us tonight. Also, you let everyone in the group join us tonight. Another thing I will want to ask, if you are joining us, hit the like button on your phone. Hit the like button there, like this section. All right, confirm if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. We are live once again this night, Solomon Institute of Tech and Management. This night we are going to be covering predictive data analysis. And in predictive data analysis, we will be looking at data forecasting. We will be looking at tables and its structures. And we will be also looking at conditional formatting. All right. I can hear you, I can see your screen. Beautiful. Let's all persons also confirm. Beautiful, you can hear me, you can see my screen. All right, we are going to proceed. We are going to proceed this evening. We are going to proceed this night. Once again, I remain your facilitator, Mr. Franklin. I'm a data analyst. Have practiced data analysis for minimum of 7 years. At the same time, a recruitment and management consultant. I'm the lead consultant, Solomon Institute of Tech and Management. Welcome to tonight's section. Now let's dive into what we have today. Let's move to our Excel spreadsheet. Okay, now we are going to be working with this data set. We are familiar with this data set. Let's, for example, you have a data set where you have the product ID, you have you have dates and all these data headings. Now, in predictive data analysis, which we are going to be looking at data forecasting in Microsoft Excel, it makes you have predicting based on future occurrence, future event, based on time. You are going to forecast by this time next year, our revenue should be this. You are forecasting that by this time in 2 years' time, in 5 years' time, when companies start mapping out strategies as regards to what their profit margin should be, as regards what their revenue should be, they are making use of historical data. Based on the trends in this data set, this is what we hope to get in the future. And that is what we are going to be looking at using this data set in order to forecast. Please let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. And also inform others that we are live once again this night. And we are going to be looking at, covering what we are going to be covering this night. We are going to be covering data forecasting. We are going to be also covering tables, how we format stuff in table. We are going to also be looking at conditional formatting. Okay, that's what we are going to be looking at this night. Conditional formatting. These are the 3 key things we are going to be covering this night. All right. Now, having established this, this is our data set. These are revenues, and now we are going to be formatting. We are going to be forecasting based on certain events, based on certain stuff we are going to be looking at. Now, this data is 2024. What we are seeing here is 2024. We need to forecast. This based on the data set we have. If you go down with this, you see that this data set, what we are seeing here in the date 2024. Now we want to look at this. Let's say, for example, the company is looking at what will be the first month in 2024, in 2025 rather. In 2025, what will be our January 1st? How much revenue are we looking at? In 2nd of January, what's this revenue we are going to be looking at? These are historical data we have, but this is the data we are going to be looking at. Now, there are certain things you need to study to get in this data set. There are things you need to study to get in this data set. This data set you are looking at here, this date you are considering here is first. This is first of, this is, I think, this one is this is month. This is 2nd of January 2024. This is 2nd of January. And in 2nd of January, there are repetitive 2nd of January. We have this. Now, to get, what we are going to do now is to get the data we are going to be working with. Forecasting with this data will not give us it will not really give us the accurate result we are looking for. It will not really give us that accurate result because there are repetitive dates. The same date repeats up to 3-5 times. As we move down, this one repeats up to 10 times. We need to bring it to a point, because we are looking at a period of 1 day interval. We are looking at a period of 1 day interval. We want to focus for 31 periods. Look at it here with T31. That's T31. That's from 1st of January 2025 to 31st of January. So our period is daily. Now, what do we mean by period? Period is completing one cycle. One cycle in the sense, if we are forecasting based on days, our period is daily, 24 hours daily. If we are forecasting based on weeks, our period is weeks. If we are forecasting based on month, our period is monthly. If it's quarterly, our period is quarterly. If you are forecasting based on annually, our period is annually. So you are going to check based on the data you have and then forecast what will be your profit margin in the next 5 years. Now we are in 2024. We might say what will be our revenue in the year 2030. With that, we might say we are forecasting based on our annual revenue, or we are forecasting based on quarterly or half year aspect. But in this, we are forecasting based on daily. That's daily forecast. First, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. Now, to do that, we need to introduce our data sets in a way that is going to be just only second we appear. Only second we appear. So what do I need to do? I will come here and say equals to, I will put unique. I will select unique. Double click here. I will go to this place, click on it, hold Control, hold Shift, press my down arrow, and then hit enter. Now what you will notice here is we have this number. We have this number. And why is this numbers like this? The reason being that the data set or the data type is in general. We haven't yet formatted it to be in date. So to format it to be in date, I can just come here and click to select everything, go to this place and select short date. So once I select short date, you see everything now is in date. As you can see, you see it 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 11th, just once. But if you look at the original data set here, you see that day 2 appeared more than once. Day 4 appeared more than once as we move down. So the data set we need here, we are going to call it historical revenue. I'm going to put H, historical revenue. I need that in order to forecast my data set, in order to do a forecast in this. Now for this historical revenue, before I use that, let me copy everything here. Control C. Let me copy it. Control C. Once I copy, I will come to this place, because as you look at it here, Excel is still seeing it as a function, as a formula. So I need to paste it as value. I will come here and paste as value. So Excel will be now seeing it directly as date, so that there won't be any challenges when we run our forecast or our function. So here, to now calculate this, what we are going to do for revenue, we are going to check all the revenue, how much we made on the 2nd of January 2024. We are going to be looking at it, how much we made on that day. So all these sales are going to be calculated and give us the data. I'm going to be using, we have learned before in this course, I'm going to be using sum if. So I said sum if, double click here. What range am I looking for? I'm looking at this range here. That's my range, the date. So I click on it, Control Shift down, then I will have to lock it so that it doesn't move away from this range. So I will press F4 to lock it. I will press F4 to lock it. Let's return back. Then, having done that, I put comma. Now, what is my criteria? My criteria is this. Once I select it, that's the criteria, that's the date I'm looking for to get the total sum as regards to that date. I press comma. I'm not going to lock it because I will still drag it down so that all these ones will be calculated. I will not be doing it one after the other. That will take me a lot of time. So what's the sum range? My sum range is this, the revenue. That's what I want to get. So I will click on it, Control Shift down, and then press F4 to lock it. F4 to lock it, and let me return to where we are. So this becomes the formula to generate the data for the 2nd of January 2024. I will hit enter. That is what we have. Then here I will format this place. Go to number format. It's not really necessary, but I just have to do that so as to separate them. Use 1000 separator and then double click and click, and that is what we have. So once I've done that, I will double click down, the rest calculated. So this will be for this, as we know, is this one. This will also be for this date. All right, we have gotten our stuff. Now we have gotten our data set ready. Now to now format, to focus in data forecasting as regards to Microsoft Excel, there are 4 key aspects. There are 4 key types of data forecasting in Microsoft Excel. There are 4 key types. We have the one we call linear forecasting, and the word linear forecasting is from the word is normal our linear equation. That's on a straight line. When we forecast using linear, we are going to get our trend line to be, we are going to get the line to be a straight line graph. So if it's on the upward trend, it will be a straight line graph. If it's on the downward trend, it's going to also be a straight line graph. That is linear forecasting. However, linear forecasting does not put into consideration factors, does not put into consideration seasons. For example, this is a sales data. There might be a season when sales goes up and seasons when sales goes down. Most times that is obtainable in sales and other stuff. There are seasons when, let's say in Nigeria rainy season, there are times when rain is high and there are times when rain are low. The same way in sales, there might be seasons when our sales shoot up and there are seasons when our sales goes down. And with that, the business personnel, strategy managers, we want to look at the time sales drop and see the things they can do in order to boost their sales in that period. So using forecasting, you can now see that if you use linear to forecast, linear does not put in consideration seasons. It doesn't consider those seasons sales goes up and those seasons sales goes down. It just put it on a straight line graph, on a straight line trend. If it's going up, it will keep on going up. If it's going down, it keep on dropping. So it doesn't check that there are times it goes up, there are times it goes down. To use linear forecasting, you use linear forecasting when what you are forecasting deals with something that is progressive. Let's say you take in some investment, or you put into bank fixed deposit, and you want to forecast what will be your so return based on this percentage increase. Based on this percentage increase, if this continues to increase in this dimension, what will be my return in so time? So that can be linear trend. If it has a specific pattern of increment, you can use linear. But for sales, we mostly, apart from linear, we have the one we call ETS, forecast.ETS. And the full meaning of ETS is, ETS stands for exponential triple smoothing. That's what ETS stands for, exponential triple smoothing. Now that's the second type of forecasting in Excel. Another aspect of forecasting is forecast.ets.seasonality. This is where you check to know whether your data, whether there are seasons in your data set, whether your data set has some seasons, if there are seasons in that range of data set. That's what forecast.seasonality helps us to achieve. That's what forecast.seasonality helps us to achieve. So in that sense, so in that regard, if you want to know if the data set, if what you are forecasting, if there are seasons in it, you use forecast.seasonality. Now there is what we call forecast.confidence. Forecast.confidence. That what we call forecast.confidence is to determine your confidence interval. We are going to be working it out this night. I want to explain different aspects of what we are going to do. We are going to be forecasting and be using this so as to make certain decisions. Let me separate these ones. These ones are my historical data. These ones are my historical data. This is now, let me call this one F dot date. That's my forecast date. This one, my forecast revenue, F dot revenue. Let me put it F dot revenue. Let me drag over to this. Okay, now these are my historical data. When you are to forecast, you are forecasting based on past events, based on the data, based on the reports you have gotten in the past. You use it to make your prediction for the future. But you are not just predicting based on your head prediction. You are predicting based on data. You are using data to make informed prediction. You are using data to make informed decisions. That's why data forecasting is very, very important as we proceed in our journey in data analysis. You are going to be making certain predictions. You are going to be taking certain decisions, and you need to use you need to forecast effectively. Okay, now having laid down this emphasis, this is our forecast date. Let me use this, and this is our forecast revenue, and let me use this aspect. So in this, we want to make use of this data set. We want to make use of this historical date and this revenue to forecast and see what our profit, our revenue will be on the 1st of January next year. We have this result. We have these sales we received early this year. And we want to make our forecast to forecast what our revenue should be by the year 2025, 1st January. So to do that, we can check it, we can forecast it and linear. And we go and say equals to type forecast. You see forecast.ets, forecast.ets.confine, forecast.ets.seasonality, forecast.ets.start, forecast.linear. We double click on this. Now you will see different options here. 3 known options. The first one is X. X in mathematics, what most of us know, every now and then we are asked to find X. Find X. If this is this, find X. So the X here is the date we want to forecast for. That next year, January. I will select that. And then put comma. Then Y, the known Y's. And in mathematics, Y equals to this. Y is the dependent variable. The known Y's, the Y is the dependent variable. So between How do you know your y and your x is in this range? This is the two data we are working with, we are using. How do you know your known y's and your known x? Which of these depends on each other? The one that depends on each other becomes your known y. The one that doesn't depend on each other becomes your known x. That's the independent variable. X is always regarded as independent variable. Y is regarded as dependent variable under the Cartesian coordinate, the x and y coordinate. So you will note that revenue depends on date. Date is there whether you have revenue or not. There is date is there, time is constant. Date is there whether you are making progress or not. Time is moving, date is moving. So date here is independent, while revenue here depends on the date. So our known y is this. That's the revenue. So hold Control, hold your shift, press the down arrow. That becomes your revenue. You press comma. Let's go back by Control backspace. When you press Control backspace, it returns back to where you are, comma, and please remember to lock it. F4, remember to lock it. Always remember to lock it. F4. All right, beautiful. Now, having done that, we will now need our known x. We need our known x. We come here and we click on it. Control Shift down arrow. Remember to lock it by pressing F4. Then Control backspace. So this becomes, this for focused.linear. Focused.linear. So we hit enter. That is what we have. Let me format this place to be under separate using 1000 separator. Let me remove the zeros and then hit enter. Now what our focus is as regards to this data set under linear is this amount. Now the next thing we do is we can drag it down, double click, it will do for the rest. Now you look at this. I'm going to show us something now. Now let's look at the chart. Let's look at the chart. Let's look at the chart of our historical data and see how it is and see how the chart is. So let's hold Control Shift down. Let's look at the chart of our historical data. Let's go to Insert, come to Recommended Chart. It recommends this. I need to use a line chart. Let me use a line chart. This is what it recommends. So I'm going to use a line chart. Now you see that on our chart of historical data, you see the chart of our chart is not a straight line chart. Is not a straight line chart. I need to get to where the chart is and bring it up. I seems not to. Okay, that is it here. I want to bring it up. I want to take it okay, let me just, now I even remember what I needed to do to cut it, and let me paste it here. Okay, now this is our chart. This is our chart. Now when you look at the chart for this our historical data, it is in an up and down movement. There are times it moves down, and this is showing us that for the first month in the year our business is down, then later it shoots up, come down, and then shoots up, come down, and that. It's in the up and down movement because there are seasons. Now, if we look at the one we forecasted based on our focus.linear, if I plot the chart of this, let me highlight it till 31st. If I plot the chart of this and go down, come here, let me still select so that you see that I'm selecting line chart the same and hit enter. You notice that this is also, let me paste it here. This is also a straight line. This is now a straight line chart. Whereas from the historical data, our data is in an up and down movement. So for us to have a good prediction, for us to have an unbiased result, for us to predict accurately, focus.linear seems to be the wrong focus to use. So we are not going to be forecasting practically real world. You are having your business and you check your sales last 2 years, you have the result, and you want to check how you want to forecast what you expected to make in first day of January till the last day of January using the data set, your historical data. You need to use the focus.ets. What does ETS does? ETS bring account seasons. Like you can see in this, there are times it goes up, it comes down. During season it moves up, come down, it goes up, come down. So there are seasons in our data set, and to put those factors into consideration and now have accurate forecast as regards to our result, we are going to make use of focus.ets. So I will say here equals to F focus. I'm going to select this focus.ets. Now under focus.ets is asking us what's the target date. Our target date is this 1st of January 2025. We want to use our result this year 2024 result to forecast what our result of next year January will be. We want to use that to forecast what is the estimated revenue we are expected to get by January next year using daily revenue as a case study. Here we have January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, this and that. Okay. Now, having established this, I will select the target date, which is the target date is this. My values is this revenue. I will click on it, hold Control, hold Shift, press down, comma, Control backspace to return to where we are, comma, and please, I forgot, remember to lock it. F4. Remember to lock it so that it doesn't move. When we draw this down, these ones will be here. Okay. Now the next is our timeline. Now we select this. Hold Control, hold Shift, drag down. Remember to lock it. F4. Press F4 to lock. Comma. Let's backspace. Now the next is asking is the seasonality. If you know the season, you put it there. Seasonality is a number, we are going to be calculating it here. But for now, since we want Excel to automatically dictate the seasons by itself and then put it into consideration when giving us our forecasted result. So I'm going to remove that and then let me close up. That is what focus.ets is, and then I hit enter. Now in this, Okay, now you see that under this, in this one, what we have here is far lesser than what this gave us. And this one was increasing simultaneously. It was increasing and be moving up. You will now see that what this one gave us is far smaller than what this gave us. So if we drag it down, now you will notice that at a point this one goes down, this one increase, goes down, go down. At a point it also increase. We notice a kind of pattern. In this data set, and as we progress, you will be noticing a kind of pattern in this data set. As we look at it, you will be seeing it. There is a pattern. There are times it will increase, there are times it will go down. So that, as we go down, you see 31st of January, this is 27, but this is 12. So from our data set, this have been able to give us a more realistic result. Focus.ets have been able to give us a more realistic result. Now, I want to show us something. Let me remove this chart. Let me delete this chart. Now, we are talking about seasons. What are the seasons in this data set? In this our historical data? How many seasons is in this our historical data? That's what we want to find out. What number of seasons does Excel put into consideration to give us this forecasted revenue results? So we want to know the number of seasons that is present in our historical data set. Okay, now to do that, we are going to say equals to forecast. We are going to make use of this focus.ets.seasonality. That's what we are going to make use of. So, comma, backspace. It will now ask us the timeline. This is our timeline, the date. Control Shift down. Let me backspace. So this is what we are to do. The other ones are optional. We don't need it. These ones, data completion, aggregation, they are optional. We don't need it. We hit enter. So from this, Excel is saying to us that in this data set, in our historical data and historical revenue, this data we are working with, there are 7 seasons. We have 7 seasons that Excel puts into consideration to give us this result. So there are 7 seasons in this date, in this data. There are 7 seasons in this data. Now, we haven't finished here. Let's proceed. We haven't finished here. Please still confirm if you can hear me, if you can hear me, and also my screen, if you can see it very, very well. Also, if you are still just joining us, remember to drop your name and your scholarship ID with your location. Very, very important. And also remember to hit the like button on this training. Remember to do that. Remember to hit the like button. Those of us in the scholarship group, we already know our attendance is highly, highly mandatory. Okay. Now, we want to know what our confidence interval. Those of us that have done some research, or you did your project in school or about to do your project in school, there is this we call confidence interval. Even in our introduction to data analysis, I talked about the confidence interval. I talked about the level of significance. And I said that in analysis, the standard confidence interval, overall accepted standard, depending on, for social sciences, for business analysis, and that is 95% confidence interval. And what is that? Is that I'm 95% confident that this result is what I'm going to get. I'm 95% confident that by 1st of January, I'm going to get a result that falls within this range. So when we forecast, we give room for error. We give room for error. It's not that because we have this, that is what we are going to be working with. No, we will now have to get our lower bound and our upper bound. And to get our lower bound, we need to get our confidence value. I'm teaching some deep stuff this night. Those into business analysis, those into financial analysis, that time you need to pay serious attention and get this. Everybody is in business, so you need to get this. When you want to predict your performance, staff performance based on the past record they are giving, you need to bring your confidence in the confidence interval value and then give lower bound and upper bound. Any staff that performed below the lower bound, then that person performed below expectation, and there is need either for training or you let go of that staff. So this forecast is very, very important. We need to get it very clearly. All right. Now, having explained that, we need to get our confidence interval, our confidence value. We need to get our confidence value. Within this value, we are very confident that this result will fall within this particular value. So how do we do that? We say equals to forecast. Now we are going to select forecast.ets.conference. So I will double click on this. Once I double click on it, it will also ask me what's your target date. The target date is this. That's our forecasted date. I will press comma. Then it also asks us what our value will be, our value to lock it, and then press comma, control backspace to return to where we are. Then we move to timeline. What's our timeline? This is our timeline, historical timeline. Hold control, hold shift, press the down. That, remember also to lock it by pressing F4. Then control backspace comes here and is asking us our confidence in our confidence level. Our confidence level. What's our confidence level? So we can put comma here. If you don't put it, Excel will assume a confidence level of 95%. If you don't put it, Excel will assume the confidence level of 95%. However, I will advise that we put 95. For now, we are going to be looking at it for 95. We put 95%. We type it there, 95%. Now, the other ones are not, we don't really need them. And then we hit enter. Now, once that is done, once that is done, this becomes our confidence value. Let me also format it. Based on that separator, 1000 separator, and then I will do this. Now, what we have here is this. Okay. Now, our confidence value, the result is correct. Okay. All right. Okay, now that is our confidence value. Now we can then draw it down. These are our confidence value. If we go down, focus.ets for confide, on this is our confidence value, and everything is accurate. Now with this confidence value, we are going to use it to now look at our lower bound and our upper bound. I'm going to explain. We are not going to be using, we use it to look at our lower bound and our upper bound. Now what's our upper bound? Our upper bound becomes equals to our forecasted revenue plus this. That's our upper bound. Our forecasted revenue plus the confidence value, our confidence value, and we hit enter. So this gives us our upper bound. If we double click here, we have this. Then our lower bound becomes equals to our forecasted revenue minus our confidence interval. That will be this, and we hit enter. That's on the negative. So when we drop down, this becomes our lower bound. Now with this, you can now, what this is saying is that your confidence level, your confidence is within your results will fall within this interval here. This is just a data set I generated using rand between. So that's why we are having some stuff like in the real data set, you most likely will not have something of that. In some cases, the negative can still come in. But this data set, I generated it by using select rand between to generate this selling per unit price. I use that to generate it. So we are having this. However, what this is saying, as an analyst, as a business owner, as a strategist, that you are going to now make your prediction that your value or your target for January 21st of January 2025 and your upper bound. On no account should you predict, forecast, or place a target that is above your upper bound. And of course, for businesses, you need to move up. And that's why you see your forecasted revenue falls within this place. And in that sense, we are going to be having stuff like this. Now, from this, we can now use this to make informed decisions. From here, we can say, okay, by January, we are looking at 7 million, this or 10 million, or any, we can, because based on data, achieving it is possible. However, if you look at it and you say that, this, from what I'm seeing, this is I don't really have enough confidence that I will get. There is no much confidence. I don't really have much confidence on this. You can come here and reduce your confidence to 90. If you put 90 here and you hit enter, you see the value here reduces. As your confidence drop, the confidence value drop. So if it's high, it will be high. Or you are saying, I'm very sure Donald Trump have won the election, business will move, everywhere will boom, there will be a lot of flow of cash in the market, people will be buying, and then you say, I'm 99% confident. You enter it and you hit enter, boom, your confidence value will shoot up, and your upper bound will shoot up, and your lower bound will also do the same, and will go down. So if you still go down, you see it, everything changes. That is the need for this confidence percentage. So if your confidence is 80%, you can type it here, 80%, and you hit enter. it will go down. It will go down. So this with the focus.ets.conference is to give you an upper bound and lower bound where you can now choose to put your target. Let's say you are setting target for your sales reps in different branches or in different departments. You are setting target for them, and you know that from the target you are setting this, and now say, okay, anybody that made this, our target is to sell. Let's say our target is to sell 28 million, for example, or 28.9 million. But anyone that has a sales above 28.9 million, the extra will be shared. But if you meet your target, you are going to get so bonus. But if you exceed it, that means you did excellently well, you did exceedingly well. The extra, there will be a sharing formula for the extra money on top 28.9 million. That you can use such data, you can use that to make your decision, to forecast, to place a decision, take some informed decision, give your staffs the target, and off we go. All right, please let me know in the comment section if you are getting value, and at the same time if you understood what we are dishing out tonight. This is to forecasting. And I really ultimately recommend you following this route. I'm about to show you another route, but I strongly recommend you using this route. However, what is this route? This route is very easy. This route I'm about to use now is very easy to do. All you need to do is to click Excel does the rest. All you need to do is to click Excel does the rest. Now, what is that route? That route is making use of focus sheet, but there are some few limitations that you might not be okay with. All right, let's go into it. Now, this is the data set that gave us what we have. But this data set, remember we summarized it here. So in this one we summarized that gave us this. I'm going to click here. I'm going to go to data. I'm going to go to data. And under the data, I'm going to select this focus sheet. Under data, I'm going to select focus sheet. All right, beautiful. Yes, it's well explained. Thank you, beautiful. I really appreciate the feedback. If there is any question, please feel free to drop it in the comment section, in the chat box. I will also attend to it. If you have a challenge, also drop it in the comment section. I will attend to it. Now let's look at this. Instead of following this route we used, I can come inside any of these sets and then click focus sheet. Now once I click on focus sheet, you notice automatically Excel selects this range. Automatically Excel selects that range for us. Now what you are seeing here is the same data range you see, but here is the focus. This tick line is showing you, the tick line is the focus revenue. That's the focus. This one is the historical revenue. This is the lower confidence bound. This is the upper confidence bound. That's the focus end date. Now what you are seeing here, the end date, what you are now seeing here is that is move from our data stops at June 2024. The data set we are using here stops at June 2024. All right, thank you. It stops at June 2024. That's our data set, 30th of June. And this focus that is automatic we are seeing here is straight to, I think this is August 2024. Now we can click on this option. This option will bring down stuff we have here. It's showing us this focus start and end. Then confidence interval 95, like we already said on our stuff here in the one we did. We already 25. If you don't want the 95 rather, you can change it. And you can see here that Excel also automatically dictates. It dictates automatically. Automatically dictates that there are 7 seasons, which we already have here. So it gives us all these things we are doing automatically. It does it. But the challenge here is this. Look at where the challenge is. Remember, we are forecasting for January 2025. If I come here, watch me now please. If I come here and to go for January 2025, you see that focus end. You see it's not allowing me to move further. It's stopping here. It's not allowing me to move forward. It stops at today. So if to say I want to come here is not allowing me. Now, one of the things, if you say you want to come here and change it manually, and you say 25, and then you come here and type 1st of January, you come here and type 1st of January, and you want to do that, you will notice if I say create, it will give me still stops at 2024. You see this now. It still stops at 2024, and it creates this, the normal table we did. The normal table we did, it creates that normal table for us. The normal table we did, it does that for us. Now, let's go down. Let's go down. Now, when we come down, you see what we are having here. This stops at June 30th, 2024. The next, it starts from July 1st, 2024. So we can't really go far in making our predictions. And you can see from here that we have that this is 6 point something, and the lower is this, the upper is this. And this one has negative due to our data set. From our data set, you can see what we are having. And that shows, yes, what we did earlier is correct. This is our forecast revenue. Now watch, if I click here, you see that Excel automatically, we will see that Excel automatically makes use. We see that Excel automatically makes use of the same formula we did, we used, equals to focus.ets. We can see it here. The same way, it selects this one without locking it. This one, it locks it, this one, and then those ones I said they are optional. We can put that. That's what gives us this. If we go down, we see that we only stops at this. So using focus sheet can be kind of limited. So if we have this, having done that in this regard, and then this is your chart. You can do something on the chart. We are still getting to chart, pivot chart and the rest and stuff like that. So that becomes our focus result. So that's why I recommend that when we want to use, we can go straight to focus directly from our worksheet instead of using this one, unless what we are forecasting, we have our result from January to August, and we want to forecast what our next month revenue will be. We can use focus sheet straight because the interval is not much. The interval is not much. We have January to August. We want to know what our revenue in September is most likely to be based on the data we have, based on the result, based on the historical data, even if from the data of last year. Let's say the data we have is from 2021 till 2024 August, and we want to use it to forecast what our revenue will be in September that 2024. We can still make use of it and make that prediction. And let me say this, as an analyst, the larger your sample size, please get this. Remember when we did introduction to data analysis, I explained what sample is and what population is and that. And I said that we run analysis using samples. That is more practical. However, the larger your sample size, the more accurate your results tends to be. I repeat, the larger your sample size, the more accurate your result tends to be. So in doing your forecast, the larger the sample size, the larger your historical data, the more accurate your forecasted result tends to be. All right. So returning back to this becomes our forecasted result. Are we following? Can we proceed? Our time, I know why I dwell so much on this particular data forecasting. That is one of the key in analysis. It's one of the key essence in analysis. I know why I want to focus on this. Okay, can we proceed? Confirm, please. Is that clear? Can we proceed? We need to proceed. We need to move fast. We have the next to cover, which is table. We need to look at table and then look at conditional formatting. We need to look at table and then look at conditional formatting. Please, can we proceed? Can we proceed? If you can hear me, let me know. Can we proceed? This is what we have. Let me know if I can proceed. Thank you. So we have these results. All right. Now with this result, we can move to the next stuff table. We can move to the next stuff, which is table. And before I do that, I'm going to do something here. Let me insert something in between. No, I'm going to do something here. Insert. All right. So that I separate Paul and Barnabas. Okay. All right, beautiful. We are following. Awesome. Okay, now we are going to, let's say we have this and we want to put it in table. The next is to show us the benefit of putting our data set in table. What table tends to give us than putting our data set like this. However, to format your data in a table, having a data set like this is you press Ctrl T. Control T. So you see immediately I select Control T, Excel automatically dictates the range of data that I'm looking for. The range of data. The range of data, you notice automatically it dictates that range of data. Okay. Now, having done that, once this pop up, once you press Ctrl T and Excel determines the range of data you are to put in tabular form, always remember to ensure that this place is marked good. If it's like this, just click here so as to select it. What that means, my table have header. And why do we do that? Is because our table really have header, so we say okay. Now this is what we are to have. You see that our table, our data is now formatted in tabular form. Is now formatted in tabular form. So what you are seeing now is in tabular form. However, there are different designs. Like as you can see here, there are different designs. There are different designs for us to work with. Your choice. Anyone of your choice. Anyone. So let's say we select this, and I'm going to change the color of these guys. Let me remove it from that white. Let me bring it to black. Okay, now when you format your data as a table, your data set as a table, there are benefits. There are different benefits. One of them is that we have access to filter button. Like this filter here, immediately we have access to filter button. Here now, under this forecasted revenue, I can come here and click filter button. Now I can say I want to filter out numbers that are greater than, let's say 10 equals to, not equals to, greater than, or top 10. If I want to select top 10 revenues, or you need to filter out top 10 sales by this performing sales rep, performing individuals, performing branch, performing department. That way, from the data set and their revenue, you can filter it out by saying top 10, top 5, top 3, anyone, or data that is greater than. So let's look at top 10. If we click on top 10 and we say okay, automatically it filters it out to top 10 data. Top 10, if you count it, is 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Also, if we can clear the formatting from here. Once we click on it, that is done. We return back. If we want it greater than, we can select any of these. They are all straightforward to work with. Okay, that's one of the benefits of a table. Another thing in table is that if let's say you want to print out this particular data to give, as you want to put it in your file, you want to print it out to file up and send and stuff like that. Let's say the CEO, the manager said print out this aspect, we are going to print it out, we are going to be using it to submit and stuff like that, maybe proposal and stuff like that, and you don't want this filter button to be present, you can come here and remove it. When you come to table design, you come here and remove it, the filter button will disappear. So most persons, even me, I don't like having that filter button unless when I need it. Unless at a point when I need it, that's when I will want it to be. If I need it, I will still come here and bring it back. So these are benefits you have for table. Now let's proceed. I think I have a data set I can use to show something here. Do I have? Is it this? Okay. All right, we are going to do something now. Let's to get the other benefit of a table. I'm going to format this. Let me remove this one. Let me remove it. Delete it. Now, why do I do that? So as to have the same information. This one, is it this? Yes. This one doesn't have revenue. This one also doesn't have revenue result. So as to understand certain things as regards to this one we have. So this one doesn't have any revenue. Let me calculate the revenue for this one. Follow me, please. Follow me, please. Now, under this one, that is this, I will say equals to. I can use product. Now, under this, I double click here. And then product revenue is selling price per unit times the number of units sold. I can drag them like this and hit enter. That gives me the result. Now, but if you notice, immediately as I click on it, it gives me only this result. These other ones did not follow. If I'm to get it, I will still have to come here and double click. That is one. So let's go back to this. Let's go back to this data set. And then let me format it as table. Let me put it in tabular form. Control T. Excel will automatically dictate it as a range. You see all this place dictated as range, and already it says my table has headers, which is correct. I will say okay. All right, now that is what I have here. So we have this. Okay, we have this. Now, if I now come to this place to calculate my revenue, now let me do that. I will say equals to, I will use the same function, product, and double click, and then come here, click and drag. Now, immediately I hit enter. What will happen? This is one of the benefits of a table. Watch what will happen now. I hit enter. Now you see, automatically, immediately I hit enter, because this is already formatted in a table, I don't need to come here and then to double click for the rest to fill. Automatically, Excel fills the rest. Excel fills the rest. So with this, it makes our work easier in working as a table, working with Excel, using Excel as per tables. So let me insert some some columns here. Now I want to do something else. Here again. Now here I'm going to double click. The rest will fill up. Now let's take, for example, I want to know our total revenue. We are going to see one of the reasons why table is important. Now let's say in this one that is not formatted as table, I'm going to say equals to, I'm going to use sum. Come here, Ctrl Shift down, and hit enter. Or we are going to have our result. This is what we have. Let me also format it as number so that I can easily pronounce it. With separator, it makes it easy to pronounce. Okay, now this is now 1 billion half as total. Okay, let's go back to this as well. Let me do the same to have the total revenue. The total revenue. Please follow me. I'm teaching something interesting tonight. This is what network dealt with us on Monday, but thank God today we are having a smooth ride. Okay, now I want to calculate the same revenue, the same total revenue. I will say equals to sum. I double click here, come to revenue, Control Shift down and hit enter. Of course, we are going to get the same result. Let me do the same formatting we did before now. Select 1000 separator. I don't need the decimals. So the same result we have. Now, however, let me now come to this. Let's take, for example, this is the result we have, and later we receive another data. We receive another data. You are a data analyst. You are the company data analyst, sales people, companies, different branches, different region. We send in their sales report, their sales data, and you receive another data. Now let's take, for example, from here, we are just using this tentatively. Let me copy from here tentatively. As let it as if it's a new data we receive. Control C, I have copied. Let's say as if it's a new data we received. Pay attention, please. Now, once we receive a new data, let's say we come here and paste it. Control V. Now, when we paste it and we move up, let me make it so that we know the ones from here down is where we pasted. Now, if we move up, you will notice this is still 1,582,490,169. We will notice that once we will notice this. So we have added to this data set. We received our data from different states and regions. We add it. When we did not format it as a table, our sum, total revenue, did not do anything. But let's go back to this one we already formatted as table. Watch what our total revenue is. And then let's go and paste. Let's go and paste this new data we have. Let me delete this here. Let me delete this. Okay, now here we are going to paste the same data we pasted earlier. Control V. Okay, I didn't copy. Let's go down. Okay, all right. Now let's copy also the same data. Let's also copy the same data. Control C. And let's now paste it here for us to see how table is good, powerful, and we say Control V. Now already as we have pasted this, you see that immediately Excel absorbs it as part of our data. Immediately, because it's formatted as a table, immediately Excel absorbs it. And then let's go and see our total revenue. Now you now notice immediately, automatically it calculates. It makes it to be dynamic. It makes it to be automated. So you don't need to be checking, okay, did we update our total revenue as we receive this new data now? Did you remember to update the total revenue? No, you don't need to bother yourself in that regard, because once you have formatted it as being in a table, you don't need to worry yourself for that one anymore. Let me position it on top here. You don't need to worry yourself for that anymore, because that is already formatted as in a table. So once you keep on receiving data, the only thing you need to do is to keep adding it. If you calculate, let's say you calculate your average revenue, it will be there. You calculate count. Let's say we say, okay, total sales. We come here and we say total sales. You want to calculate total sales, and underneath it here you say equals to count. This becomes your key matrix. Your key matrix, you come to here to say count total sales. Let's say we do that using product ID. Control Shift down and hit enter. You will notice this will be counted 556. If you want to put your average sales the same way will be. Now let's add another data. You will see that this one will also update. Let's come here and add. Let's copy some data from here and go to add there, and we see this tentatively. We are looking as if we receive another data from different branches, and we are adding it up to the master data base. So here we come to this place. Let's go to the last. But remember also, if you want to add it directly after the last data. Don't give space. If you give space, it will not work. So what we will do here, we come to this place and now say Control V. Automatically Excel absorbs these ones, and if we go up, you will see that immediately this has updated. This one has been updated. If you have your other matrix, total revenue, which you calculated from region, total revenue for Imo State, Abia State, or for different regions, those ones will be updated because it's already in a table. These are benefits of table. However, let me move down because of our time to also talk about one of the other function of a table, which we can also leverage on. If you go to table design, you can activate the total row. You can activate it. You can activate the total row. So once you click on it, you see this total row. Automatically it gives us the total number of data, like we have in our count, like we have here in our count. You can see it there. You can see in our count 5,630. It gives us the total row, the total data we have. However, if you want to now know total revenue from here, once you click this drop down menu, if you click on it, if you want to get the sum, you select, you see the sum here. You will see the sum here. You want average, you select average. It gives you the average revenue generated. You want the maximum revenue, it gives you. If you want to know the minimum sales here, it gives you whatsoever based on these functions. You want to count, you select it, is the same you have here. So this becomes one quick way of viewing your data. Quick way of viewing your data. If you come here, you see different stuff, but here you are going to, if you select count, it will count what you have here. So, but you are not going to summarize data now or say average. Imagine you coming to put average, it gives you error because this is not a figure. So you use that to get a quick view of what your data set is. All right. Now we will round up this session by quickly. We are almost coming to the end. This 10:27. We are to round up this session by applying conditional formatting. Conditional formatting. Tonight I'm going to be teaching basic conditional formatting, the basic conditional formatting. In the next session, when we start building some real-life portfolio projects, we will be learning advanced conditional formatting. Okay, now let's say we want to look at our revenue, and we want to format our revenue. We want to format our revenue. We Control Shift down. Let me from here. I made a mistake. Control Shift up and then bring it down. Now we want to format our revenue. Now we can go to conditional formatting. Let's say the manager, the boss says, I need you to highlight those revenues that are 500,000 and above. Highlight the revenues in these that are 500,000 and above. We need you to highlight those revenue 500,000 and above. So what do? You come to conditional formatting and come to highlight sales rules. So you are going to use greater than, those revenues that are greater than 500,000. But if he says those revenue that are 500,000 and above, that means is greater than or equals to, you are going to use. However, let's deal with greater than first. So if I click on this, already Excel dictates certain number on its own, but I'm going to say 500, greater than 500. Those number that is greater than 500,000. So you look at it, you are already seeing any number greater than 500,000, you are going to be seeing a kind of highlighting that shows that this number is that. But let's say you don't want to use it, and the company wants you to use a certain color, maybe their color or whatever to use to do that. You can come to custom, maybe if you select yellow is not it, you select dark green is not it, and the company wants a particular color, you come to this custom format. So when you go to custom format, it leads you to this place. The font, let's say we give the font white, we bold it as well. Then we go to border. Let's also say we give the border color, let's say white, and then select outline border. That is your own choice based on what you are working with. And then the field, let's say we select this purple or we select this green. Let's say we select this green, and then if you need more colors, you can get it here. If you need another field effect, you can get other field effects as you have in this place, but we don't need them. I don't need them for now. I'm going to close it. If you need more color, you also come here, you see more color pattern, basic Microsoft Word, and then we say okay. Now once we say okay, you see automatically what we select: white text with bold and green background. Let's say this is what we need, and then we hit okay. Now if we scroll down, we see that all the ones that are 500 above or greater than 500 is highlighted. As we go down, you see they are the ones that are highlighted. Now, but let's take for example, but what we are asked is 500 and above. Now let me type in 500,000 here. Now if you look at it, as I type 500, it did not select because what I said is greater than 500. That's the conditional formatting I applied, greater than 500. Now this one, let's assume that this one is also 500. It will not be selected. But now, how do we include this 500,000 to be part of the cells that is going to be selected? Now, someone might ask me, why not just apply it immediately? Can you search all of these down? This is up to 5,000 data. You might not be able to do that, and you will not want to do that. So with this conditional formatting, that is done very fast, and also it's not really done, it's not only fast, there are different use cases of conditional formatting. There are different use cases of conditional formatting, which we are going to be getting to know as we progress in this course. Okay, now, so to achieve that aspect of greater than or equals to 500, like we have here, greater than or equals to 500, to achieve it, I'm going to go back to this conditional formatting. Let me clear the first initial rule. Let me clear it. Let's go back. Now, under these highlight cells rules, instead of selecting greater than, less than, between, equals to, I'm going to go down to more rules. Now, under more rules, you are going to see this, greater than. So here I'm going to click on this. You will see greater than or equals to. So I select that. And then what is it? Greater than or equals to what? I will type 500,000. So what do I need to format it? I will go to this place, format, come to field. Let me select what we have before. Come to border. I will select the color to be white. It's a free word. You can choose any of your choice. Select outline border and come to font. Set my font to be white and then select it to be bold. If you like, you make it italicized, any choice, or bold italicized. So let me use bold italic. So once that is done, I will click OK. Now, having done that, this is how it will look like. I will say OK. Now you see that our cells already formatted. This one now is highlighted because we use greater than or equals to. Okay, now moving forward to wrap up this session, let me clear the rules we have here. Now, we can also have this top 10 like we have in the filter. You can also highlight the top 10. You can also highlight top 10%. If we come to top 10 here, if you let me make it top 100, and let's select, even with top 100, let me say top 1000, so that now you can see that these ones falls within the first 1000. You see this one is first 1000, this first 1000, this first 1000. So that is from the top. There's the top 1000 will be highlighted. That is on that. Then if we also come to this top 10%, if we click on it and we want to highlight, maybe say top 25. Now you see top 25%, these ones are among the top 25% based on this data set. So that is that. Also in data for bars, if you is going to assign certain bars to it, if I select this, you will see like bar is like inserting a bar chart in this range. So as the value of the data is, so is the bar. As the value increases, the bar will increase as well. So that is what this is. Let me clear this rule as well. Then for the bar different color, you can select. That's the same different color. The same way in color scales. This is, some companies use this, that here you see it, this is yellow. That means that is not, it didn't really do well, it's on the average. This one is bad but not really bad, but this one is in the range of being very bad. As we can see, the ones that are green, they are the ones that are doing well, but the ones that are very green, like this one, you see the green is thicker than this. That means it's a top performance. So with this, you can use that to differentiate different performance in your data set. Okay, we are coming to the end of this. And then on this one, icons, you can also use this. Some persons, you might have seen a data that have stuff like this. This is average, this is below average. Then here we are having below average and average. If we go down, we might see one. Thank you, beautiful. This one now is doing very well, extremely above average, as we can see here. Okay, now also this, if you don't want this, you can choose this. The same way you can decide to choose this one as well. You can mark, you want to mark results. These are the result, and you want to assign it based on certain stuff. We are going to be defining some rules. We have not done that yet, but these are just straightforward. You can select this as well based on this, the result we have, the ones that is average, the ones that perform bad, the ones that perform well. That's what we have here. Okay, now that is where we will be wrapping up tonight's section. We have gone like 10 minutes ahead due to time, and this is where we will wrap up this session this night. I want to appreciate us for being present. Those of us in the scholarship group, remember to submit your week 1 project by Friday this week. The week 2 project will drop. We will drop the week 2 project. Very, very important. And I want to encourage us, don't miss Friday section. Is going to be superb, and is going to be the last session for us this year, and we will go on a break to return back January to complete this course. So Friday is going to be very, very interesting. After Friday, we are going to be getting our week 2 project, so that will take us into the Christmas, and then when we come back by New Year, we ought to have submitted. Thank you, everyone. See you on Friday. I remain your facilitator. I remain your trainer, Mr. Franklin, Solomon Institute of Tech and Management. Do have a lovely night rest.